Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the power, control and rebirth of those of you who have Pluto in your 5th house, but also for those of you who have Scorpio ruling your 5th house within your natal birth chart. But I also recommend watching if you happen to have a Scorpio sun, okay? So if your sun sign is Scorpio, definitely give this a watch too. But before we do get into this, make sure that you give this video a like if you like it. Also make sure to subscribe if you have not already and to click that little bell icon in order to keep yourself updated with further content from myself. And one more quick thing just to mention, if you would like to know more information all about your Pluto sign, your Pluto house, along with your Scorpio house and your 8th house within your birth chart, then I have created a Scorpio season/archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today if you would like. Okay, so with all those introductions out of the way, Pluto in the 5th house and Scorpio ruling the 5th house individuals, let's do this. Okay, so if you have Pluto in your 5th house or Scorpio ruling your 5th house and also a Scorpio sun, then what this suggests is that you possess an all or nothing self-expression. And this can clearly be radiated and outwardly shown through how you write, through the music you create, through the way you dance, through the way you dress even, so looking at your clothing and your style and the jewelry you choose and the makeup you wear. Whatever way you choose to express yourself, you either do it fully and completely or you don't do it at all. Suggesting that you are a highly passionate individual. Someone who isn't overly fond of sitting on the fence or meandering, further implying this go hard or go home self-expression. What I actually want to do is I want to share a quick experience from my own life here because I thought it was quite fitting. So I have a Scorpio brother and his sun is also conjunct his Pluto, which is quite a similar vibration to having Pluto in the 5th house. But anyways, he shared with me a Yoda quote, and the Yoda quote reads, "No, try not, do or do not. There is no try." And the reason for why I bring up this experience with him is because this is how he really operates. This is how he expresses himself. And you even notice this with Gary Vee, who's also a Scorpio. He's very, very popular and he just emanates this energy very, very well, because he has so much of that passion and that drive, and it's very, very powerful. So essentially there's this either you do it or you don't do it mentality here. Though having said that, what are some examples of this all or nothing self-expression so that we can really ground this energy? Examples could be whenever you share or tell a story, or whenever you write a script, you do so with so much force, so much deliberation. So you might be sharing a story whilst others find it really, really difficult to even take their eyes off you, or they find it difficult to even get a word in because what you do is you sort of hold their focus. You grab their attention as if you're demanding to be in control. You're demanding to be seen and you're demanding to be heard. Or whenever you're writing a script, as the other example that I mentioned, or even a song or your own story, whatever you're creating, just whatever creative piece through which you are expressing your authenticity. You do so with so much depth, with this inner desire to pour your heart and soul out. And of course, the same can be said when it comes to the music that you create, and also when it comes to how you dance, as previously mentioned. I mean, you're probably someone who will rock up to a club or a party, and when you dance, you go all out, especially if that song that's playing really resonates with you on an emotional and intimate level. Though on the other hand, you may have a tendency of going extreme with the partying, resulting in you experiencing the worst hangovers, or getting kicked out of clubs and venues, or possibly even waking up in a house that you don't really remember traveling to the night before. And in terms of the clothing and the fashion, as mentioned, as forms of your self-expression, oh my gosh, holy smokes. You're probably never short of attention whenever you step out. Your self-expression can be so compelling and spellbinding. So I'm talking piercings, hair dye, tattoos, alternative clothing, sexy clothing, revealing clothing, and oh my god, whenever you like someone, boy, are you going to express it. Yes, you might come across as mysterious, you know, this mysterious type towards your potential crush or love interest, but the thing about this is that you're fully in control. And so when you decide that you want to let that person know that you are interested, you're most likely going to take control, take charge in that situation, and not be one for BS. But on the opposite side of this, if you don't like someone, again, very obvious, you can be very cutthroat. You may even have this "they're dead to me" mentality if somebody betrays you, who you did once like, and you're probably willing to raise hell if need be, implying that you may have this mentality of refusing to back down from a situation where you know in your heart of hearts that you're in the right. Essentially here, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house, there is no in between with you, and therefore people are going to know where they stand. Kind of going back to the whole all or nothing idea, well, in terms of the nothing part, whenever you consciously decide that you're over-expressing a certain side of you, or whenever you decide that a particular creative pursuit or hobby is no longer for you, that's it. You're done. There's no turning back. Though seeing as I mentioned the hobbies and the creative pursuits here, whenever you take up a certain hobby or a particular creative pursuit, you do so vigorously with an inner, intense enthusiasm. So you might read a series of novels in a short period of time, for example, or you might go through cooking and baking recipes that you just research the hell out of and you just really want to try them. Or you might just start painting all over your bedroom walls, because why the hell not? Though another interesting thing is that this house rules over sports and entertainment. So of course these things can be really put into the hobbies and the creative pursuit category as well. Though still, what we also notice is the same eagerness, the same fierce energy being inserted into these things as well, such as you maybe joining a certain sports club and then you give your all into that sports club, and what this may result in even is you gaining a really strong physique. So what happens is your fitness levels, they really increase. It's almost like you can become this fitness animal, this fitness fanatic. And in terms of the entertainment part, you know what's entertaining to you and what you really enjoy, and you're going to be very passionate about the things that entertain you and that you enjoy, and so you're going to consciously seek out these activities and experiences with this mighty vengeance as well. So to be fair, you can go to the extremes where you take these things to the furthest point until you can't physically do it anymore, possibly resulting in you maybe even growing to resent the things that you once loved, or just have this strong distaste towards them. But following on from this point, whenever you're in the all-in stage where you're focused on a particular hobby or spare time activity or creative pursuit, you might be extremely over-possessive and over-protective towards whatever it is, suggesting that you may have the tendency of getting into heated battles with others, or you might even become jealous if you think that others are performing better than you, or you might quite possibly seek to tear other people down. And this reminds me of the book by Howard Saspertaz, The 12 Houses, and within his book he was talking about the Pluto in the 5th house as if the Pluto in the 5th house and the Mars in the 5th house individuals were playing in a sandbox. And what he said in his book is that the Mars in the 5th house individual, they might throw sand in the face of his friend if he thinks that the friend has built a better sandcastle than him. But the Pluto in the 5th house individual might go a step further, where they accidentally, on purpose, kick over the rival's castle, provoking a fight and then even breaking up a friendship. And this to me is very, very interesting, because the thing about you, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house individuals, is that it could very well be suggested that your ego's desire to feel special and important, it's just so powerful, and it's so strong within you. So powerful that you might possess an excessive amount of pride, where you may refuse to let other people get the better of you, or where you refuse to admit whenever you're wrong, or it's where you just desperately inwardly seek to be applauded and validated for the things that you create and express outwardly, but yet these things may not be something that you necessarily show above the surface. It's something that you may keep hidden and you may keep secretive. And also you may not like to show these vulnerable parts of yourself. And I think that these feelings, of course it's just a possibility, but these feelings may be stemming back to how you felt seen and heard as a child yourself. So with that being said, let's touch on this for just a moment. Is it possible that as a child you felt deeply misunderstood? Or is it that other children diminished you or tried to control you? Or maybe you experienced a type of ego bruise due to a potential traumatic event as a child. Perhaps you felt abandoned, like you weren't welcome in many social situations as an individual, or quite possibly a traumatic event occurred in regards to children, such as sexual exploitation, or a parental figure having a miscarriage, or even your own siblings going on to have their own children, which then resulted in pain and a lot of turbulence. Then again, maybe you observed as other children had so much love. They got so much more love and attention and affection, whilst you felt shut out. Whatever the case may be, we're noticing a blow to your ego, possibly resulting in this overzealous attitude where you can take things way too far whilst hiding deep secrets of insecurity, further implying your tendency to cover things up and not let others really get to see what's going on underneath. And with the same token, your ego being hurt may even lead to the other extreme, where you can't even bear the thought of doing anything ever again. Remember, all or nothing. So in this respect, maybe you've even struggled with the likes of depression or alcoholism before. Because throughout this process, there may be stages whereby which you're just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm so done. However, not all is lost, because the thing about this is that you are one sturdy, firm, and determined individual. Someone who knows that there is a much greater purpose and deeper meaning behind whatever it is that you've went through. And therefore, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house, what you come to develop is a really solid, unshakable, unhealthy ego. The type of ego that doesn't give up easily on your creative pursuits. The type of ego that creates and expresses from the depths of your authenticity, but at the same time, when you go through these moments of destruction and chaos where you're just like, I want to destroy all I've created, for example, you let these things go. And then what you do is you regenerate, you evolve. You basically take what you've learned and then, or what you've gained as well, and then what you do is you use these things as tools. You use them as a tool for self-development. And with each and every death and rebirth moment, you transform. So some examples of this may be you evolving as a singer, an artist, a political leader, a manager, an actor, a writer, a model. Whatever it is, you transform and you keep on evolving. And throughout the process, you really do produce more power, more control, and more strength. And if it is that you've went through a particular traumatic experience, you know, as a child, maybe this trauma that really hurt you, or maybe this could even be a situation where you experienced a trauma in relation with a romantic fling, or maybe even due to you actually losing a child, or maybe even you possessing fears of having children yourself. Whatever it is that you went through that was so traumatic, your creativity can be used as an evolutionary tool, and it can really help aid you throughout the process. So in this respect, your creativity can be this mighty source of healing. And so as you rise up from those phoenix ashes, maybe you start to collaborate with others creatively. Or maybe you simply start to share or open up creatively. See, you might hide your self-expression or your creativity due to this inner self-importance that you fear will be hindered or stumbled over at any moment. Kind of going back to the whole ego race thing, as mentioned earlier, along with the all or nothing attitude. Because above the surface, it may seem one way, and it's quite extravagant, and it's confident, and it's fierce, but beneath the surface, it may be another way. Suggesting that whenever you confide in yourself enough and you trust yourself enough to bring these qualities out and above the surface, you soar. And as you soar, as you evolve, you unconsciously invite others to do the same. Because what starts to happen is that others start to see and feel your passion and your immense desire. And so they start to really see you as somebody who rose up, see you as somebody who made a change, went through that transformation, even though it may have been really hard. And so maybe other individuals look to you and they're like, you know what, if they can do it, then surely I can. Meaning that you, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house, you can usher others in becoming aware of their own power as well. Further implying that you really have this profound influence, this profound effect and impact on others. Though, there's just one more thing that I do want to mention, and that is in relation to romance and love, because your romantic endeavors, they can also transform you, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house. So, with that being said, whenever you love with so much depth, where you can even become consumed by the relationship. You might go to extreme measures to show your affection or your devotion, or you might even be smothering and controlling, where you're constantly checking up on your lover, or where you're keeping tabs on everything they tell you. Or you might really be attracted to an intimate lover, someone who you can have a really close bond with, someone who you can share your inner deepest desires with and just give your all to. Or this could quite possibly be you establishing a secret romantic affair, such as you falling in love with someone who is somewhat forbidden, so to speak. Then again, maybe this is thrilling and exciting to you, suggesting that you may get involved in quite taboo-like romantic relationships. Though whichever way this does play out, it's also through your romances that you transform and are reborn. Some examples of this could be you having a one-night stand, resulting in you becoming pregnant or getting somebody else pregnant, and then the birth of this child completely transforms you. Or this could be a secret affair, the taboo affair, that actually ends up resulting in a really serious relationship, and this transition in itself really gives you a wake-up call and it transforms you. Or quite possibly this could be a situation where you accidentally get an STD or an STI, and then that gives you a really big scare, and so this results in you changing as a person. Essentially though, Pluto in the 5th house, Scorpio ruling the 5th house individuals, whenever you love someone, okay, so that could be a partner, could also be a child that you have, or whenever you put in your heart into a creative project, you're most likely going to keep going through these mighty cycles of change and transformation, and with every new or outdated stage, you are reborn. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the power, control and rebirth of those of you who have Pluto in your 5th house, but also for those of you who have Scorpio ruling your 5th house within your natal birth chart, and for you Scorpio Sun individuals out there too. Now if you happen to have any of these placements, let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button, and make sure you also give this video a like, remember, and I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!